Every luxury watch store in America is built around one lie, that a higher price tag means a better movement inside the case. But here's what the sales floor will never tell you. Some of the most recognized names in men's watches are running the exact same $12 quartz movement you find in a gas station watch, just wrapped in a shinier box with a logo that costs more than the entire watch combined. There is a wall in every department store in America. It is lit perfectly. The glass is spotless. The watches sit on velvet risers angled just right so the light catches every dial. And standing behind that glass is a salesperson who has been trained to say one thing above everything else: you get what you pay for. That sentence has sold more overpriced watches than any advertisement ever could, because it sounds true. It feels true, but the moment you understand what is actually inside the case strapped to your wrist, that sentence starts to collapse. And by the time this video is done, it will not hold up at all. Let us start with Fossil. Walk into any American mall and Fossil is everywhere. The brand carries itself like a mid-tier luxury name, with a price range sitting between $75 and $250 depending on the model. The marketing leans hard into vintage American design language, heritage, craftsmanship, timeless style. But strip that case open and what you find is a Japanese Miyota quartz movement or a basic Chinese quartz caliber that costs the manufacturer between $3 and $8 wholesale. That movement tells time. It does nothing else. It has no mechanical complexity, no finishing, no engineering worth the word craftsmanship. Fossil's actual production cost per unit lands somewhere between $18 and $30. The rest of the price tag, and we are talking about markup somewhere north of 300% on most models, goes straight into retail overhead, licensing partnerships, and a marketing budget that treats the inside of the watch as an afterthought. Here's what makes it worse. Fossil Group also manufactures watches for Emporio Armani, Michael Kors, Kate Spade, and several other fashion labels under licensing agreements. That means the exact same factory, the exact same movement, the exact same assembly line, just a different logo stamped on the dial and a different price attached to the box. You are not buying different watches. You are buying different marketing. And speaking of Michael Kors, this is where the logo tax reaches a level that is almost impressive in its audacity. A standard Michael Kors men's dress watch retails anywhere from $150 to over $400. The movement inside is, as mentioned, sourced through Fossil Group and costs under $10 to produce. But the real damage is not just in the movement, it is in the materials around it. The cases on many Michael Kors watches are made from base metal alloys with ion plating, a process where a microscopically thin layer of gold or rose or gold-colored coating is applied over cheap metal. That plating, under normal daily wear, begins to wear through at stress points within 1 to 3 years. The crown, the lugs, the case back, these are the first places to show the base metal underneath. You paid $350 for a watch that is going to show its true identity within 2 years of regular use. And when it does, there is no repair. There is no restoration. The watch is done. Daniel Wellington built an empire on a single idea, that a minimalist watch face and a NATO strap could justify a $180 price tag if enough Instagram accounts posted pictures of it on a white bedsheet. The movement inside a Daniel Wellington watch costs less than $5. The case is thin stainless steel with no meaningful water resistance, no scratch resistance worth mentioning, and no finishing that a trained watchmaker would call intentional. The brand spent millions on influencer seeding campaigns in the early 2010s, and it worked. People bought the story before they ever looked at the specs. But the story has a shelf life. Daniel Wellington watches do not. Within 2 years, the mineral crystal scratches, the strap phrase, and the plated case loses its finish. For $180, you bought a photograph, not a watch. MVMT built the same playbook and executed it slightly better on the marketing side. Direct to consumer, social media first, priced between $95 and $150 with messaging that said they were cutting out the middleman and passing the savings to you. What they did not tell you is that removing the middleman still left you with a Chinese quartz movement in a case assembled overseas with finishing that does not survive a close look. MVMT was acquired by Movado Group in 2018 for $100 million, not because of the watches, but because of the audience they had built. The product was never the point. The audience was. Hugo Boss sits in a particularly frustrating position because the name carries genuine fashion credibility in tailoring, but that credibility has been stretched across a watch line that does not earn it. Hugo Boss watches retail between $150 and $500. The movements are almost universally licensed quartz calibers. The cases are often assembled in Asia under contract manufacturing agreements, with quality control that varies significantly across production runs. There is no in-house movement, there is no watchmaking heritage. There is just a fashion label doing what fashion labels do, extending their brand equity into a product category they have no technical expertise in and charging you for the logo you recognize. Guess operates at the lower end of this conversation, but belongs in it because of how aggressively it markets itself as something it is not. Guess watches lean heavily on chunky case designs, oversized dials, and bold colorways that suggest performance or toughness. The movements inside are basic quartz with no complications worth noting. The water resistance ratings listed on the spec sheet are tested under static laboratory conditions, not real world use. Diving, showering, or even wearing the watch during a heavy rain can exceed what the seals can actually handle over time. Guess sells image. It always has. But when the image is attached to a watch that retails at $125 with a $15 production cost, the gap between what you are told and what you are getting is too large to ignore. Invicta is the most theatrical offender on this list. The brand sells watches with case diameters over 50 millimeters, thick bezels, aggressive styling, and price tags that swing wildly from $40 to over $500 depending on the model and the retailer. Invicta has been caught in multiple consumer protection disputes over inflated suggested retail prices, listing a watch at $995 as a suggested price while selling it for $49 on shopping channels. The movement inside most Invicta watches is a Japanese quartz or a Chinese automatic that costs under $20 wholesale. The size of the case is not engineering, it is theater. Bigger does not mean better in watchmaking. It means the brand is hoping you mistake visual weight for mechanical substance. Emporio Armani closes the overpriced side of this conversation because it is the purest example of brand extension without watchmaking investment. Emporio Armani is a licensed sub-brand of the Giorgio Armani Group, and its watch line is produced under contract by Fossil Group. The retail prices range from $150 to over $350. There is no connection to Swiss or Italian watchmaking tradition. There is no in-house caliber, no finishing standard tied to any watchmaking benchmark. So you are paying for the Armani name on a product that the Armani atelier has no direct involvement in making. The craftsmanship you associate with the Armani name in tailoring does not transfer to the watch on your wrist. Now, here is where the conversation changes. 3 brands exist in this space that are doing the opposite of everything described above, and the first one has been hiding in plain sight for decades. Seiko, a Japanese brand founded in 1881 that has spent over a century developing and manufacturing its own movements in-house. The Seiko 5 series starts at under $100 and runs an automatic mechanical movement, meaning no battery, no quartz crystal, just a rotor that winds the mainspring through the motion of your wrist. The movement can be serviced, the crystal can be replaced. The case is solid stainless steel, finished to a standard that brands charging 4 times the price do not match. Seiko also produces the movements used in Grand Seiko, a line that competes directly with Swiss luxury houses at a fraction of the price. The entry point is honest, the ceiling is legitimate, and the engineering is real. Tissot sits in the sweet spot of Swiss watchmaking accessibility. Owned by Swatch Group, Tissot uses Swiss-made certified movements, meaning the movement, assembly, and inspection all happen in Switzerland under standards that are regulated and verifiable. The Tissot PRX and Tissot Le Locle lines retail between $250 and $500. For that price, you get a Swiss automatic or Swiss quartz movement with finishing a sapphire crystal that resists scratching under normal use, and a 2-year manufacturer warranty backed by an actual service network. The markup is 2 to 3 times production cost, a ratio that reflects real material and labor investment, not a marketing budget masquerading as craftsmanship. Hamilton earns the final spot because it carries genuine American heritage with Swiss manufacturing discipline. Founded in Lancaster, Pennsylvania in 1892, Hamilton supplied watches to the United States military and to railroad workers for decades before being acquired by Swatch Group. Today, every Hamilton watch is Swiss-made, but the design language is rooted